It is said to move silent and swift through the undergrowth, towering over everything it passes. It strides through the woods as little more than a shadow. It has exceptionally large shoulders and walks like a heavy, muscled beast, leaving giant footprints. All 50 U.S. states and all 10 Canadian provinces have reported sightings or found tracks of this mysterious animal. Over the decades, these claims have been the
last year alone, I had 3 sightings. In total, I've had 5. I'm 100% sure that these things are real. I'm just not sure exactly what they are.
Hey everybody, welcome to a live show of Do You Believe Paranormal web series on Paranormal Zone TV. And everybody, thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm so excited. You know I love Bigfoot, and I know all of you out there have been waiting for this show. But tonight, before we start, if you would please give my show a like and please subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And tonight, my guest, and I'm so thankful for him to come on the show tonight, my guest is D.B Young. So everyone, let's welcome D.B Young. D.B Young is a wildlife specialist. He's a Bigfoot researcher. He's a tracker, and he is...
Well, I grew up on a family farm, 700 wooded acres. It was a 3-generation farm in Price County, Wisconsin. Pretty much like a father figure to me, and started teaching me in the False-Based Society, and that basically is a mid or a medicine man. I grew up in the woods. I started studying wild animals when I was only about 5 years old. I go basically in the woods where people don't usually go, off the beaten path, so to speak. I don't really know what to tell you.
Okay, and when did you start getting involved with Bigfoot?
That was my first. So then a car in back of me, probably 200-300 yards, there's an intersection. The car went by. Well, it stood up again, and it looked right down the road, and it apparently seen me there in blaze orange. And then it took only about 3
viewers. So I'm gonna share this right now with the viewers. You guys, you're not gonna believe this. I am so excited to show this to you. And there it is. I'm showing it to them.
Okay. Well, see, now that picture, now if I was smart enough, there was most likely 11 more pictures of that. But unfortunately, when I brought the CD card out of the camera into the house, it was all there, if anything that had happened, and set the camera back up because I was looking for a predator that was eating our cats. We had been missing quite a few cats, outside cats. Like, pretty much up when all of a sudden I seen this figure staring at our house.
Oh my God, I guess so.
And it was not what I was expecting. And then the next day I went out there and looked, and sure enough, there were the tracks, and you could see where it came in to the yard, stood there, then it took a different trail through the back cedar swamp and crossed into that would be the Rock Creek area where a snowmobile trail had gone through. Later on, though, it was a few days later, I had found the flooding, but it was pretty shocking. And from there, I contacted the BFRO again, and Matt Moneymaker was interested in it. He got a hold of their sponsor, which was Wallace Hersom, and I told Matt and Wally that the camera request. Well, he says no because it was too dark. And Wally, he seen it, and he says, no, I want this. I want this picture, no matter what. And he says, I will furnish you with any amount of equipment to get you into the field 24/7. I want you to find this thing.
Oh. Now, everybody, Don was on Monster Quest. And what was that, like in 2009?
There was a few of them. And they even had me back as brown bear. We don't have any brown bear. We don't have grizzlies around here or anything like that. We got black bear.
Oh.
What was in that picture was no bear. My wife.
And then the picture of Bigfoot.
All right.
I've got all three of them.
And the branch that's above her head is 8.5 feet. So as I call them, because see, during my childhood, I learned from Ben Standing Crow about certain native legends of the Seneca, and Bigfoot, to me, is actually considered as a standing just 6 inches below that branch. And my wife is just shy of, I believe, something like 5 feet, 5'6".
Oh.
So the mass of that one is shocking.
Well, I'm also showing the comparison of your cam capture, and somebody drew a. I wish you had it on. And I've got the measurements in the middle, and then the Bigfoot off to the left.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting. Now, also you.
Boy from Ireland who did that for us, because he did most of the comparisons. He did most of the research work into it. I'm basically out in the field, so my knowledge in the way they do that is limited. I know animals, I know habitats and behavior. When it comes to computer work and stuff like that, the property, it's kind of a confusing little drawing there, but it shows the in and out path that the creature took.
Now, Don, there's also another image that you captured. It was captured on June 30th from your hunting. It's a hunting cam. This
Yes.
one says Scout Guard.
I'm showing right now. There's several pictures of one of his shoulder, because what I had done is I took and put that log he's digging around in is a hollow log. Over towards the middle, there's a string around it, and there's a pail hanging from it with a concoction of peanut butter, apples, and stuff. But I stuffed inside the hollow log a whole bunch of peanuts, sunflower seeds, just different things that I thought he might like. Well, it worked. He had dug around in that thing, knocked the log off of the set I had, and I managed to get a picture of his head, a couple pictures of his shoulder as he's working his arm inside the hollow log.
Oh my God!
Oh, close to anywhere from 50 to 100.
Oh my God! You do? On that reserve, I'm showing a picture of the front entrance to your reserve. Oh, no kidding! So,
yeah, and what I do on the preserve is that we've designated that. I'm trying to get that as a Janusqua safe zone, where there's no hunting allowed out there. Only limited observers or researchers are allowed out there invading someone's bird feeder or stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I'll live trap them, and I'll take them out to the preserve, and I'll let them go out there where they can continue their life undisturbed or unshot by someone that just finds them to be a nuisance.
Oh, that is so wonderful of you. Thank you for doing that. Well, I have a lot of animal lovers that watch the show, and we so appreciate that. Now, How many times do you think? How many times do you think Bigfoot has? Do they watch you? Do you think he watches you?
Oh, definitely,
Oh.
definitely. I'm pretty sure that. See, now, in my belief, the native belief, this is not only a physical animal; it's a spiritual animal. When a person sees the Sasquatch or the Genoskwa, it's meant to be. You're not going to see one unless you're meant to see it.
Really?
As far as them watching, they watch everything. It is frightening to, for a non-believer or a skeptic, they're going to just scoff at this. But when you walk into the woods, how many people have actually said this? I feel like there's something watching me.
Yeah.
Well, there is.
Oh my God! So they can see you, but they're kind of like hiding, so we can't see them.
Yes, yes. My instructor, Ben Standing Crow, used to call them shadow beasts because they basically will go from tree to tree and stand in the shadows and just watch you.
Okay, but they don't go in the tree. They're just standing behind the trunk.
No. They go around the tree. They hang in the shadows.
Oh my God!
They're very curious about us. After all, in the past, it is native legend that native people actually, certain tribes, hunted them. So you've got the different species. And it could be with the spiritual, too. There's the Wendigo out there. There's the Komatsu. And there's the Genoskwa. The Wendigo being the cannibalistic, the evil one. The Komatsu is the one halfway in between, which can be very territorial. And you got the Genoskwa, the very friendly, docile one, like the Bigfoot, that just hangs to itself, watches, doesn't harm anyone, even helps out. Here's stories of people that got lost will get led out of the woods by some strange-looking creature.
Oh, you mean if somebody's lost?
Yeah, if someone's lost, they mysteriously find their way out. They don't know how they did it.
Oh my
But
God!
certain things will be left in the trail that'll gain their curiosity. All of a sudden they'll see something over here. They'll walk over there, they'll look at it, then they'll look up and there's a road.
Oh my God! Don, do you think they're interdimensional?
Well, I'm not sure how to answer that. I would say that they can become spirit, but they can be killed. I can say that. You can shoot them when they become flesh and blood. But the reason we can't find them is, because they, a good word for them, a shapeshifter.
No, really? So they are.
And the other thing, too, is when, you've seen these shows already where they're out there howling and hooting and everything after them. A Sasquatch or Genoskwa imitates everything. They will imitate a coyote. They will imitate a wolf. They will even I had one expedition attendee this one time. He got so scared that the next day in the morning he left. I called him up and what happened? He was talking to this one guy about his wife, and he mentioned her name. And in the woods, in the distance, he heard something out there that said, Wendy.
Oh my God.
Repeated his wife's name to him. He got so scared the next morning he left.
Oh my God.
They mimic noises.
Oh my.
If you make a noise out there, a whoop, they're going to whoop back.
No.
They're going to
way.
mimic a crow. They're going to mimic a blue jay. just so you don't know they're there.
Oh.
The Indians even did that. The natives did that.
Oh my God. Okay, so how do they communicate? Okay, I got so many questions for you. Do they travel alone or do they travel with several others? Do they have a family? Does that family travel with them?
I would see. No, I'm not an expert on them.
Okay.
No one really is an expert on cryptids. But my guess is they travel singularly, alone. If they travel in a group, they're going to get seen. It's not a secure way.
That makes sense.
They travel alone. The name Januska stands for stone giant because they used to live in caves. The family unit would stay back. One would go this way. The other would go this way. They're hunter-gatherers. One would go after nuts and berries, while the other would stand on the side of a deer trail and grab a deer by the neck and snap its neck.
I'll be damned. So...
And then they would all gather back at the cave or the uprooted tree or wherever they decided to.
So the area that you're in, there's plenty of seclusion for them. Have you ever spotted, I don't know how Bigfoot live or where they sleep or if they, do they live in caves? How do they sleep at night?
Well, they're definitely not like humans. There's not the comfort zone. They sleep just like any wild animal. Under a tree, they'll puff up some grass or they'll break some boughs and they'll make a little nest for themselves. Anything like that. They're an opportunistic creature.
Have you ever...
They find something comfortable, even an old abandoned cabin out in the woods with no door, they'll go in it.
Really?
They'll tear up the bed or whatever, make a little nest for themselves.
Really?
Just like any animal.
Oh my God. So when they sleep at night, they sleep by themselves or do they go find their family?
In my belief, it depends. You've got the loners, the rogue, and just like with most wild animals, you got the big bull, we'll say. Okay, he's got his harem out there. You got the younger bulls. Okay, they got to go and find their own territory. Otherwise, there's going to be conflict. So you got the big bull. He's got a few women around. He's got his little kids. But now, say Junior got to be 18. Okay, it's time to get out of the cave. Go find your own swamp somewhere.
Oh, so they kick him out of the family?
That's what I would believe. Otherwise, you would be able to see him anywhere. You would have colonies of Sasquatch or Januska.
All right, so what do you think happens to the sick? They get old. I don't know how long a Bigfoot lives, but when they become elderly and sick, where do they go? Where do you think they go?
Just like I've observed with a lot of wild animals, even some domestic animals. On the farm, the cows, when they were going into labor or they were old and they were getting ready to die, they would go off wandering somewhere and die alone. They'd find a niche under a tree, hidden in brush. They'd find a place to die. Carrion or whatever would come, not carrion, but crows, coyotes, whatever, would scatter the remains around, eat what they wanted, bury it here and there. I don't believe that they bury their dead.
What do they do with them?
It just gets scattered around.
But, Bigfoot's been around for years and years and years, and has anybody really found a body?
The only thing see, right now I'm working on something, and the only one that knows about it right now is a few people I've mentioned on my Facebook and Wally. I found a burial site.
You didn't.
I'm not sure exactly what it is. We're going to have some of the bones tested, some of the teeth tested with DNA.
Oh my God, are you... No way!
I found that in 2009.
And it's taken this
long? A
long?
long time ago, and right now I'm waiting for the permafrost to go out of the ground so I can get back there and start doing some more digging.
Oh my God, now that there was a Dr. Ketchum who said that she had acquired DNA, but I never heard anything more about it.
Yep, Wally had talked to me about that as well, and it's sooner or later there's going to be something significant found. As far as the other, there may be a link between the Gigantopithecus and the Sasquatch or Genusqua, and there was a jawbone found somewhere in Asia, I believe, and that would have been of the giant ape species.
Yes, I've heard about that. So you think you found a burial ground? Well, if you found that one, then there's got to be more. But it must have been really hard to find. If you found one,
it was an accident. I was basically following a pack of coyotes in the area, and came across like a little knoll where they were digging around, and I seen a bone sticking out. So I dug around there, and I found a jawbone and a couple other unique bones that weren't of an animal that I've seen before.
Oh my God.
So I took a couple of them, got out of the woods, well, almost out of the woods. I just felt uncomfortable. So I found a cedar tree, dug a hole, and buried my little collection underneath the cedar tree. That was in 2009. Since then, a logging crew had gone through and cut every tree down.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So it took me until a couple months ago to relocate the area. Now I just have to dig around and see if I can locate it all.
So you were able to find bones that were closer to the top, but how deep do you think they bury these bodies?
I don't think this was buried by them. This, I think, was animals. I believe it was just animals that buried a stash, and I just happened along.
So you mean they were just, well, okay, so that means the body was there on the land, but the animals took the bones and buried them, because I know dogs like bones?
Yeah.
So that body was visible. Then that body was visible to somebody if they were in that area.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Well, obviously it's in an area that nobody must go to.
No, this is it's in between two lakes, deep woods. I mean, this is farther in than my preserve.
Okay, so
it's like 5 miles deep woods.
Oh my God! So they're smart enough to know to congregate or do whatever in a dense area where they. Do you think that they know that this would be an area where humans wouldn't come into?
Well, yeah, most of my encounters have taken place in locations where people don't go.
Oh my God. I'm so fascinated by this. Have you ever, so obviously they know you're there and they watch you. Have you ever felt in danger in any way?
Once.
Once?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, it was out probably a mile from the preserve. I got treed something was following me. It was making huffs and groaning in back of me, and you could hear the footfalls on the leaves. So it was getting dark. I was probably at least a mile from my camp. I didn't have nothing with me. I had my knife and a utility belt. So I climbed the first tree that I could, got to the top of the tree, unbuckled my belt, wrapped it around my arm, wrapped it around the tree, and I stayed up there. It was total darkness now. I could hear it below the tree, you know, and then it just started shaking the tree, trying to get at me, and yeah, I was scared.
Oh my God. So you think he would have harmed you?
I don't know. It might have just been either a territorial thing or a pheromone thing. I was experimenting rather stupidly out there.
Now, while this was happening, did he make any kind of noises other than the breathing? Was he trying to talk to you in any way?
No. It was grunting. As he tried to get up in the tree, he'd fall back out of the tree, and then he was called away. There was something down the trail. This could have been a younger one, but something down the trail, probably 200 yards, let out a screech, and then everything went silent. I stayed up in the tree until next morning when there was light out.
Okay, so if that might have been a younger Bigfoot, maybe the older adult was telling him, like, leave you alone. He's not going to harm you.
Nope.
You think so?
It was basically the older one would have known human danger, not knowing that I was totally unarmed.
Oh, so it was warning him. Oh my God. So if you were a cruel person and had a gun, you could have shot that Bigfoot.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I was shot at something. There was something below the tree. I couldn't see it. But it would have been a sight shooting.
Oh.
Or not a sight shooting, a sound shooting, just blasting away below the tree.
I see. Oh my God, I'm so glad. Okay. But you wouldn't have shot it anyway, would you? No, I didn't think so. Have you ever heard, now other people, are they getting sightings like you? And has anybody heard of a human being hurt by a Bigfoot?
Many years ago, there was tales of abductions and stuff like that. In my area around here, yes, there has been numerous sightings. Some from out of the area. One was a young man that came in to the area, total skeptic, had an expedition with me. We set him up on one area. He had a thermal with him. He got on the radio and started screaming. We couldn't understand what he was talking about. His father had to sedate him.
Oh my God.
He had seen something walk from behind a tree and stand there and just look at him. And the kid got onto the radio and started screaming for his dad to come get him quick. His dad got there, and kid had lost a thermal, dropped it down somewhere, took off running, hid behind a tree. His father got there. Kid was hysterical. He had to give him some form of a sedative because I guess the father was a doctor or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
And the next day they left.
Oh.
They had enough.
Wow. Now,
there's been other sightings from fishermen, hunters. A family that is up towards the Park Falls area had a footsteps in the snow. Walked right up to their farm, looked in on the animals, and then walked right across the field. Kept on going, following the river.
Now, if this Bigfoot walked on the farm, he didn't touch the animals. Don't they usually? Do they usually do that?
Well, I've had an incident here where they basically tormented my dogs.
Oh yes.
I don't know what it was doing. It scared the hell out of me
All
and the
right.
wife.
Let me play. Okay, everybody, okay, go ahead and give them the scenario on the because I've got the video to show you guys. So go ahead. And before I play it, Don.
Well, me and the wife, we had gone out to a fish fry. It was on Friday night. And we've got some, well, we had. Most of them have since gone. But bear hunting dogs. And the bear hunting dogs are kept in a pen out in the back. Well, we got back from the fish fry rather late. The dogs were just barking up a storm out there. So I told the wife, just grab the spotlight. She's standing outside the vehicle, well, standing on the door jamb of the vehicle and shining into the dog pen to see if there's, something got in there, because usually they'll go nuts if a woodchuck or something gets into the pen. She couldn't see nothing at first. I seen some eyes, and she started focusing the spotlight right on the eyes. I seen that, and I ran into the house real quick and grabbed their little Sony camera. I ran back out and opened the gate to the dogs. They didn't bother with me at all. They wanted to get at whatever it was over there.
Okay, so let me play that video right now. Hold on. I'm going to play the video. Yeah, I just played that for him. So it sounded like that. I'm assuming it was a Bigfoot. He was growling like the dogs. His growl. So those dogs weren't growling, but he was.
Oh no, the dogs they were barking up a storm. They were trying to get at the gate, and as soon as I got into the pen and walked to the other side, those eyes were probably only about 20 feet from me. And the dogs then became very defensive of me. They gathered around me and were barking at it, and then when it just left, the camera could not pick up the sound of it walking through the brush, snapping on branches. But the dogs, they followed along the side of the dog pen until nothing else.
But I heard that growling.
And yeah, that could have been the creature.
Yeah, it did not sound like the dogs growling, and it sounded like it was. I don't know if it was imitating the dogs or if it was just growling back at the dogs. But then it disappeared.
Yep.
Now.
And my wife, the next day, she stood in the area between the two spruce trees, and it dwarfed her. And she looks like a little midget there, where those eyes were.
Now, so the dogs were locked up, so those dogs could not have gotten to it. So
No.
So that's really curious to me as to why he doesn't come any closer and maybe like peek in your windows to see what you're doing.
And that has happened to people already, where to me anyway, they are very curious. They're trying to figure out why we want to learn so much about them, why we're always in their territory. They're now running out of woods. We're out there with industry, cutting down their forests. So they're wondering why. So they're coming in to see what we've got. And, yeah, when they're in our area, they're digging in dumpsters, they're finding treats. So yeah, all of a sudden they might have been brought in by the dog food.
Oh, they smelled it.
Yep, that could have been. I don't know. A couple weeks after that, the Maine hunting dog was pelted with a good-sized rock.
Oh.
And within a month after that, died from the brain injuries.
Oh. I know they throw rocks, but why would he throw the rock at the dog?
That is a known. I've been told that they just hate dogs.
Really? Now, what about your cats? Do you know, were they taking your cats?
I don't know. We never found the cat body anywhere. It was just, we started out with about 12 cats, and we were down to, I think it was 3.
Oh my God! Why didn't you bring the cats in or give them some shelter?
These were outside farm cats. You don't bring these in the house. These claw your arm. There was only 2 of them. One was Jerry and the other was Thomas. On the video, Thomas. I think he was the one that was with me as we're walking through the woods. On another one of my videos on YouTube, I believe it is Thomas that gets between me and the bear.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, Thomas, I'm sitting here filming outside black bear. I'm only probably about 3 to 5 feet away from it, and Thomas crawls out and goes between my legs and walks up to check out the bear. Bear puffs up and chases Thomas right back to me.
Oh, God. Now, you also have captured what you call a baby Bigfoot on an infrared camera?
That's the only thing I can explain it as. Of course, I have not claimed it as a baby Bigfoot. That name was given to it. It was just very weird. It looks primate, that's for sure.
Yeah, it does. And this was on by your house or just on the land?
Yeah, it was about probably a mile down Mount Peely Road, the same road that all the other incidences have taken place. Not all of them. But me and another researcher, Rick, were walking down. He was testing out one of his new thermals. I had the thermal on a chest cage, which I and Rick had developed, so I wouldn't have to constantly bring it up to my face. Instead, I just look down, there's a viewer, and the thermal is attached to my chest, so where I point, it would be. Well, as we're walking down the Mount Peely, off in the woods, we notice, all right, we got a thermal signature. As we're watching it, it just in the video it shows it just leaps up into a tree. Well, later on, the next day, my wife goes back there. She stands in the area where this had leaped up, and we estimate its height at about 4 feet.
Oh.
So when a lot of people say, oh, it's a raccoon or it's a bear doesn't leap up into a tree. They climb a tree.
A bear climbs a tree?
Yeah, a cub will usually, or if a lightweight adult is frightened, they'll climb a tree, but they won't leap up into a tree. This thing leaped up into the tree, and then the thermal did not capture it very well, but I was following it along as it literally swung through the trees like an ape.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Now, does Bigfoot climb trees?
Oh, they have to. They have to. The young ones, there was one that was captured. Don't know if it's for real or if it was fabricated, but it was in New York. The New York baby Bigfoot. It was a primate up in a tree.
Real?
They would have to. It's a common place for protection. It's any primate goes to the trees, even humans.
I never thought about Bigfoot. So, and if he's got like a monkey in him, monkeys swing from trees, but I never pictured a Bigfoot because they're so huge of swinging from a tree.
But I'm not saying the big ones. The big ones,
small
they're
ones.
they're too, just like a grizzly or a giant black bear. They can't climb a tree anymore. But the young ones, the cubs, they're all over in the trees.
Oh my God!
While the adults are on the ground, the little ones, they're being a nuisance. They're climbing on the shoulders of the big ones. They're jumping in the trees. They're getting into trouble.
How much footage do you have of these Bigfoots?
Well, between the pictures and videos, a few. I'll just say that, a few. The wife, she's got about 12 pictures that she took of one on the bog, but she doesn't. I'm trying to talk her into releasing them to the public. She doesn't want to because of the ridicule that I've gotten in the past.
Why would somebody ridicule when you've captured something?
Anything to do with Bigfoot or Sasquatch or Januskwa, unless you have DNA proof, you're going to get ridiculed. There is the people that just absolutely refuse to believe that North America has its own ape, or even worse yet, that there is a forest spirit, like the natives believe.
So
I've already had individuals say that the Native American beliefs or legends are bull.
Oh, really?
That was an insult, basically that they're saying that a culture that has been around longer than any other person in the Americas is bull to what they believe.
Oh my God.
So yeah, and the wife, these are so detailed, and they were also captured by accident. We were constructing the road. It's all over the bog out there. I went back to the vehicle to get the canteen, a couple sandwiches, and I'm heading on the way back. I'm yelling to the wife down there by the trail we're building, and she goes, "Shut up. There's something out there. I'm trying to take a picture. You're going to scare it." We're talking almost 2 miles out there into the bog. She's snapping pictures away. I don't see anything. I yell at her. She tells me again, "Be quiet." And she goes, "Okay, it's getting up. It's running. That ain't no bear." I go, "I don't see anything." And she goes, "Let's go home now. I got to put it on the computer so I can see it." I go home and she shows me the pictures, and oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's digging for something under a tree, and I'm looking at it and I go, "Okay, we gotta go back out there." I go back out there with her. I have her stand in the exact area. I go where this thing was, where she was taking the pictures. It was getting a drink underneath of a black spruce. I took pictures of the area where it was laying on its side, scooping water out with its hand.
How can it scoop water underneath a tree?
Oh, this is a bog.
Oh, gotcha,
Water.
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, there's water holes all over the place.
Yeah. So they generally, so you have water around you. So even though there may be a dense forest somewhere, if there's no water, they won't stay in that area, will they?
No. Their main source that'll attract them is water.
Mm-hmm.
Streams, fresh springs, any kind of clean water. A bog is continually filtering its water.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And then there's the main thing is people have asked me how come I keep having sightings and that. I Crow said that I have a sight in my mind, an ability. But I believe it's more on the lines that I don't go elsewhere and look for them. If you have a sighting, stay in that area. Don't go wandering all over the United States and around the world. If you've got one or two in an area, stay there. You're going to have another sighting.
Yeah, but you see, you're fortunate. You live right there.
Yeah.
You know, and you have your cameras around. I mean, not many people have that, what you have, Don. I mean, you're really lucky. Only thing is, I'd be scared to death. But
well, that's the other thing is the incident up in the tree. Yes, I was scared, but I've learned don't show them that you're dangerous. Don't show them fear. You can feel it. You know, I've felt fear many times, but don't let them see it. Don't yell out a scream. Don't yell. Don't holler. Don't broadcast in any body language that you're afraid or that there's any kind of a threat. Even if you've got a gun, don't put your hand on it.
what would happen if you did that, do you think?
You probably won't see one ever again.
Oh, my God. Now, because these woods are right there, have you ever gone in there and just like sat on a rock or a big tree that has fallen down and try to communicate with them? Maybe not out verbally, but like mentally, to see if they would come to you and communicate with you?
Yes.
You have?
And basically, a book that I'm writing, it describes all of that. Ben Standing Crow had taught me how to communicate with the forest spirits. And it's a certain ritual. And many times, you got to do this where there's no modern-day distractions. Even if I'm out on the big bog where you can't hear nothing, if all of a sudden a jet or an airplane flies over, that blows it.
Oh.
That's total distraction. It's got to be where you're only in nature. There can be nothing else. And it will happen. It'll be very light acknowledgement. But you'll know they're there.
Really?
It's hard to explain, but you'll know they're there. A lot of times you'll have these expeditions where there'll be countless people. That's wrong. I've already even wrote Matt, Moneymaker, with his Finding Bigfoot. I go, you guys got cameramen following you around everywhere in the woods, making noise, banging around. You're not going to see anything. You got to get out there, be totally quiet, be one with nature, and maybe, just maybe, one will pass by. But you're out there with cameras that are great big lights on them.
Oh, well, it's TV, honey.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the real thing. It's television.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
But yeah,
okay.
that's what I'm saying. If a person goes out there and you just want to totally relax. The other thing is cold camp. Don't have a fire.
Oh, really? Oh, so
Don't have fire at all. Don't have any artificial lighting. Just be out there in total darkness
Oh, my God.
during the day and at night. And during the day, act like you're supposed to be there. Don't be digging in a cooler, popping open a beer or a soda. Don't be smoking a big old cigar. Instead, go scrounging around. Find an oak tree. Dig around. Gather up some acorns in your hand. You don't have to eat them or anything. Just bring them back to your camp. Make him think that you're a forager.
Oh. Oh, my God. You know so much. How long have you been on this land?
All my life.
Oh, so you know. Well, you're a wildlife specialist. Oh, my God. Has anybody written a book about all of this? The way you're explaining?
I'm doing it. It's called Trail of the Sasquatch, a shaman's journey.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it starts when I'm 5 years old, and it goes all the way up to present.
Oh my God. When do you think...
And hopefully I can find a good producer, a publisher. I've got a couple of them that are interested, but I don't know, they seem shady to me.
Oh, yeah, hold on and get a really good one. That would, oh my God. So, so is the book finished? Did you actually finish the book?
No, I've got, I'm having I bought one of those things where you talk to the computer and it's supposed to, they don't work.
Oh, it doesn't? Oh my God, I always wondered about that. So it doesn't
No,
work.
they don't work. You've got to do more correcting and spell checking after you're done because it doesn't recognize a word or something like. So what I've got is the entire book except for probably the 5 of the last chapters done, handwritten, that I did. And the wife, she's redoing it, typing it, and I'm going to put it to CD and then send it to a publisher when it's completely done.
And won't they write it? They'll write it up, won't they?
Well, then they charge you a percentage off of it if they have to do the, I don't know what they call it, but if they have to correct everything, then they charge more for it. But in there's going to be all my pictures. Everything that I have collected my whole life will also be in that book. It'll say, like, you're going through a chapter and it'll describe something and it'll say plate number, whatever. And then they just have to look, okay, that's the picture he's talking about.
You're not worried about them stealing your information?
No, once I find this, the DNA out there with this burial site, I'm pretty sure that I've concluded what I had to do, is prove that they exist. It's basically how it started with my first sighting. I just wanted other people to know they're real. I wasn't after fame or anything like that. I didn't care. I just wanted the BFRO, first of the place that I called. I didn't know anything about what they called Bigfoot. I knew about Januskwa, a forest spirit that Ben had taught me about. All of a sudden they started telling me about Bigfoot and Sasquatch and all this stuff. So I figured, okay, if I've seen it once, I can probably see it again. I'll prove it to them. But it's harder than it seems.
Really? Do you think...
A person can take a picture of it, but that's just... It's not DNA.
No, it's not. Why are they... Now, some say Bigfoot and some say Sasquatch. Is there a difference?
Well, see, Bigfoot is the white man name.
Oh.
Sasquatch is one of the native names. Januskwa is of the Six Nations, of the Iroquois name. There is well over 1,000 Native American names for the forest dweller.
Oh, they call him a forest dweller. Now, you have Native American friends. Do they go on this land as well, trying to communicate? Oh, they don't come on the land?
No, they contact me occasionally where I'll go to their place and do a healing or a ceremony for them. I have Native in me, so I'm accepted into the reservations.
You lucky. How come they don't come on the land and try to communicate with Bigfoot, with him?
The nearby ones are the Chippewa and the Ojibwa or Ojibwe, and it's a sacred animal. You don't torment it, otherwise, you come up with bad luck.
Bad luck?
Bad luck. If you are not meant to see one, and you accidentally walk up on one, and you do see one, and you weren't meant to, you fall into bad luck.
Oh.
They've had that happen on expeditions already, where it was forecasted for a couple of weeks to be perfectly good weather. They get up there and it's nothing but miserable rain, cold wind, and everything. Cameras won't work. Everything breaks. Batteries go dead.
Oh.
It's not meant to be.
Oh.
That is, in a way, what the certain natives believe. It's a spirit force, spirit that is meant to be respected, not tormented, not followed. And see, that's what I do out there, is I don't follow them. I don't torment them. I just exist with him. I go out into the woods. I do my own thing.
God.
I don't go looking for them.
So awesome. You are so lucky. That your story is absolutely unbelievable, and I can't wait for your book to be published, Don. And the best of luck with that. And my God, that would be so awesome if you were the first one to get the DNA. That would be crazy awesome.
Well, even if I'm not, I'm hoping that someone will, because the sooner there is evidence of DNA found, the sooner other people can create, like I am, with the Preserve, a safe zone. And whether they're flesh and bone, or they're both flesh and bone and spirit, or just spirit, there has to be a protection for them. This is, to me, it's an endangered species.
Mm-hmm. Well, but nobody's really shot one, though, before.
Well, some people have said they have, but if they have, this is something that you're not just going to kick some rocks over and bury it. Mm-hmm. You just shot a giant ape-like creature. You're going to tell someone about it. Yeah. You're going to take a sample of it. You're not just going to bury it and then forget about it, like I've heard. There's been on publicity out there where someone has shot it, buried it, and a few years later said, okay, I shot one. Well, no, yeah. I don't think so.
Exactly. God. It was... Don, I can't tell you what a pleasure it was to have you on the show tonight. Now, see, was that bad?
I was nervous, yeah.
Oh, God, come on. How could you be nervous? You were awesome.
I'm basically in the woods. I'm not a people person.
Well, you did fine. You were wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And I can't tell you how I appreciate having you on the show. It was just a pleasure. And best of luck to you, Don. I hope to God that you do find DNA or get the DNA, and I'm waiting for your book to come out. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
It was great.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Oh my God. Wasn't that crazy awesome, you guys? Did you like it? Did you like it? Yes. Wasn't he good? Oh my God, he was so nervous. Everybody, thank you so much for joining the live show tonight. Please subscribe to my channel, and please give me a like. I'd really appreciate it. And good night. We got to go to Dave's show. He's going to kill me. So go on over to Dave's, okay? I love you guys, and happy Easter. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all next Thursday. Love you guys. Good night.